So this is my Smackdown review of the go home show for Money in the Bank. Honestly, I like the last week's show better. I think as an overall show, but this show did feel much more important than what happened last week, and also that this felt like they're treating SmackDown as something which is worth to care about. Also, you had surprises. You had Seth with his whole faction showing up. I think weekly wrestling shows work so much better when you have a overnight, like a narrative going on through the night. Like there is something that is set up at the beginning of the show, and then that the whole narrative plays out from the start to the middle to the end. Of course, you cannot do that every week, but you can do it in in small ways. Some weeks the narrative is a larger narrative. Some weeks is just a small narrative, which they used to do on SmackDown with Roman and his, relationship with the bloodline. Sometimes it can be as just as little as to where is Jimmy, is he here or is he not. Sometimes where it's like, Jay, you have to make a decision, you have to join me, you have to acknowledge your tribal chief. So I think that is the ideal way to book a wrestling show, because even if the middle is not really that important, the rest of the show, at least people are tuned in because they want to see what is happening with the narrative that has been set up. Overall, I would say good show. In the end, the Cena, Logan, Cody, Jey Uso segment showed that what this feud really is. Like it's just there to like uh, fill time. It's just like a bare knuckle, bare bones feud, because what happened? Cody and Jay came out. Uh, Cody came out when Seth was in the ring, and Seth's expressions were really good. Seth whispered something in Cody's ear before going away. Cody looked good in his black suit. Then Jay with his eating and all. Then Cody said stuff. Then John and Logan came out, and then they attacked them. Logan from behind punched Jay in the face. Jay sold it like $1 million. Then John Cena gave an AA to Jay. He hit Cody with the belt also. Then Logan Paul gave a frog splash to both. One thing that I did like about this segment was that John Cena turned around the "We Want Truth" chants, and the "We Want Truth" chants did not happen anywhere in the rest of the show. Anywhere it did not happen. It happened in this segment because it shows that they don't really care about this stuff. They're not really invested in this, like this John Cena heel run or this tag match. So they started these chants, but then John Cena said that you can't handle the truth because what you have known WWE as will end, and I will go as the real world champion, and Logan will stay as your next world heavyweight champion. Logan looked so awkward with the belt, and he was like a little kid looking at the vet, like, oh, this is how you turn a crowd in your favor. Oh, he's holding the belt, I'll also hold the belt, like that. But the thing is that the Logan holding the belt really doesn't do anything, because Logan already lost to Jay. If this would have happened before, like if this Cody and Jay versus Logan and John happened at Saturday night's main event, there they won, and this set up a Jay versus Logan at Money in the Bank. That would have made much more sense narrative wise, because Logan has already lost to Jay. So even if Logan pins Jay, like what does it do? Logan has already lost to Jay, so he cannot get another title shot. He cannot go after Cody because he has lost to him also. What I think is going to happen in this match is, because Cena and Logan stood tall, and there's a rule in wrestling, whoever stands tall generally loses. I think Cody is good. People are saying that Cody is going to pin Logan because he is the guy that doesn't lose anything if he gets pinned. But I think what's going to happen is Cody is going to pin Cena, and that's how Cody will go and say that that is why I deserve a title rematch, because I pinned you. I think that's what's gonna happen. That I pinned you. That's why I deserve a title rematch. Even though they don't really have to do this, because Cody can just get another rematch. Because the rematch clause officially does not exist, but many times many people just get it, like they lose and they get another match. So like champions lose their title and get another match, like LA Knight has gotten his title match and everything. So what I see is that Cody and Jay have to win, because Jay is going to face Gunther at uh, at the Raw after. And the thing with Jay is right now they have been protecting him a lot. Like they have not given him any like clean wins apart from his like any wins like pinfall wins apart from him like pinning Logan Paul, but they have protected him in the sense that he has won all his matches though by disqualification, but he has been the one that has been attacked in those matches. So Jay has always like this kind of like protects him too. So I don't see him losing, because Gunther's narrative can still work if Cody and Jay win. Like Jay is just battered. Like you can have Seth Rollins and everyone attack Jay after the match too. You can have Cody and Jay win, but Jay is just laid out. In a way, you can have Jay take the pinfall loss also, or maybe you do a DQ. That way, Gunther's narrative of Jay trying to help his friends, but I don't think that's happening. I think you're not gonna have Cody lose his first match back. Like he just lost to Cena at WrestleMania. Like you're not gonna have another L added to Cody's win and loss record. I don't think company sees it like that. So it was whatever it was. It was kind of like you do a basic feud. You have the heel stand over the babyface. Apart from that, it was really nothing. It was fine. Only good part was Cena turning the truth chants into his favor and ending the show with boots. Apart from that, I think you had the larger narrative going throughout the show, which was Seth essentially taking out his fellow opponents of the Money in the Bank. Like he came out at the start of the show, there were OTC chants, there were CM Punk chants, and Seth mentioned Roman a lot. That means that Roman is returning. Whenever Seth starts talking about Roman, because they have not mentioned Roman that much, and then Seth just starts talking about him, that he doesn't care about you, I care about you, we are the future of this business. That I get. I think there needs to be more depth in this faction. Like they are good, but the thing is, they have already laid out that they are doing this because they don't want people like Roman, like Punk becoming champions. But they need to emphasize more on that point rather than emphasizing that I am taking over all the power, that I am the future, because those just sound like things which every heel stable says. What distinguishes Seth Rollins' faction from other factions is that they have a motive which is in a way noble. That they do not want another bloodline. They do not want another, injury-prone wrestler to take over. That should be the emphasis. That should be the emphasis of this faction, which they are not doing, which is making this faction kind of boring, which you can see in their ratings also. That is what they have to like emphasize on further and further. We are doing this because we don't want people like them to be world champion. You have to understand, like the reason why I have gone to the dark side is because I have a noble motive. That's what they have to do. But then Solo and Jacob and JC Mateo came out. And one thing I don't understand is before WrestleMania, it was all like Jacob coming out on his entrance, but Solo by his side. Why is that since Jacob has won at WrestleMania, Solo is suddenly like acting as the leader and Jacob is just accepting? Wasn't the storyline that Solo is kind of like not the leader now because they do not come out to his music? Jacob is standing in the middle and Solo is kind of like the, you know, like the hype man. That has kind of like the dynamic has changed a little bit. Maybe it's because of JC Mateo, or maybe because Solo is in the Money in the Bank, so Jacob is like, let him have, because it doesn't make sense about why is Jacob suddenly so quiet now. Maybe because of JC Mateo, I don't know. But then they came out and Solo was like, well, you're talking about taking over and everything, and so you're creating a new bloodline essentially, right? Like you have your right hand man Jey Uso, like equating Braun Breaker. You have your Jimmy Uso, which was Bronson Reed, and you have a wise man and Paul Heyman. And I liked Paul Heyman in this segment because he was so scared of Solo. Because the last time he was in the ring with Solo, he got put through a table. You could see you could see Paul Heyman like step back in fear, like covering his face. And Solo essentially called out Bronson Reed too, which I liked that they did, because Solo was like, you, after all we've been through, like you went to war with us and then now suddenly you're back with him. Even though Solo was the one who was trying to get Seth Rollins on his side, people saying that this doesn't make sense. No, it actually makes sense, because Solo is a heel. He doesn't care about Seth Rollins. So he just wanted to get Seth Rollins as by his side so that he could play mind games with him. So that's what happened. Then Seth was essentially like, Jacob is the real Fatu, and maybe I want to fight him. You had a stare down between him, you had a stare down between Breaker and Jacob Fatu. I wish that the crowd would have reacted a little bit better to it. And then, Seth, Bronson, and Braun just leave. And then Jimmy attacks Mateo from the back and inadvertently causes Fatu to get pushed out. Then they had a match. Like, I have to talk about this. Like, Mateo is just not that exciting to me. Like, apart from his finisher, like there is nothing in his moveset that excites me. Maybe it's because of the WWE style that they are not letting him, or maybe that's just his style. Like, there is nothing exciting about JC Mateo. Like, there's nothing that, like, you can look at him and that makes him stand out apart from like the his finisher. There is nothing in his moveset that makes him stand out from people like Fatu, people like Bronson. So I think he needs to add moves, or like maybe he already have moves to do those moves, and they need to give him more mic time. Like, they gave him speaking opportunities on this SmackDown in the backstage segment too, and also he needs to act a little bit more naturally. Like, I have seen Jeff Cobb in his promos; he's much more natural. This felt like he's reading off a script. When the Solo backstage segment happened, where he called Jacob all gas and no brains. One thing also, now that Solo knows that he's funny, he tries to be funny a lot, which I think is wrong. Solo, when he doesn't like is actively trying to be funny, is funny. Like in the set segment, he was unnecessarily trying to like give facial expressions where you can see he's trying to force, which I think WWE shouldn't do that. When something is coming off naturally, you don't script that much. Give the wrestler a chance to properly express themselves, like in a more natural way. You had that, and you, Jacob, just came from behind the door and was like, yeah, I listened to that shit. I like that it was not like similar to like the Bailey or the Batista segment where you can see this cameraman doing the, oh, I'm listening to it. I think they added a little bit more where you cannot see Jacob at all and he just comes out. And I think that's what's gonna happen. That Jacob will try to help Solo win, but they'll have some kind of argument, and that will cause Solo to lose. And you also had a Jacob and Damien confrontation where where Damien was like, I have also had fights with my family, but regardless of your family situation, which was a very weird line. You're not an insurance agent. Why are you talking like that, regardless of your family situation? Man, let Damien be Damien. Like, why give him these lines? Regardless of your family situation. Like, what are you? My funeral agent? Like, that I'm coming for that US title. And that's what's going to happen. I think Jacob and Damien will probably happen at Night of Champions. And you need to have the turn either happen there or at the Saturday night's main event, because please do not extend this. I think the SummerSlam match has to be Jacob versus Solo Sikoa. I think what's gonna happen is, after Jacob defends his title against Priest, I think Drew McIntyre is gonna come back at Night of Champions and probably gonna cost Damien that match, setting up their match at Saturday night's main event probably, or maybe SummerSlam. And what's gonna happen is, some way or other, JC Mateo is gonna get a chance at the US title at Saturday night's main event or SmackDown, and there you have the turn, and set up the Jacob versus Solo match at SummerSlam, and there where you have maybe Tama Tonga come back, Tonga Loa come back. If there you have the comebacks of those people, or maybe you have Solo win the US title there. Like I get like Jacob's first pinfall loss is to Solo Sikoa, but then who is there in the US title division who is like ready to take the title of Jacob? Nobody has been built. Phoenix was not on this show. Carmelo Hayes was not on the show, which I don't get. Why were they not on the show? You could have given them backstage segments at least. Like Carmelo had a backstage segment last week, so I don't get it why. And he had a match also, but you could have had a segment with the Miz. First thing is, what happened to that Alistair Black feud? Is that feud going to continue, or is that feud just over? And then moving forward is what we had was Zelina taking on Piper Niven. One thing that I have always suggested, which I will suggest now, is if a title reign is not going good and you're having your champion in non-title matches, you're trying to build them up or doing something with them, just make those matches title matches. Like the problem that I had with Gunther was he was having great matches with people like Frazier, people like Axiom. If those matches would have been title matches, at least if a reign is bad, at least your reign would have had a number of title defenses. But in the end is what you have is you have a reign which is bad and with little to no title defenses. Like Zelina has one title defense, which was against Chelsea Green. Now, if she's facing Piper Niven, why in a street fight? Why not have it for the US title? Like, it can make storyline sense also. It can be like, I am injured, so Piper go take my title. You could have had the match which happened last week also a title match. Like, if a title reign is not going good, at least you have title defenses under a champion's belt. And Zelina is not getting any reactions. Just getting her reaction when she's holding the title up. Apart from that, like this match was fine. Like in the end, when Julia came and hit her with that kendo stick, she did not pull back at all. One thing was that this made Zelina look like a little bit of a loser because you needed help to like I can excuse Julia taking out Chelsea and Piper and Alba Fire, but then Julia then hitting her with the kendo stick because Zelina is not able to powerbomb Piper, and then Piper essentially falls not because of the powerbomb but because she hit her with the kendo stick. Just makes you look like a loser, and in the end you're such a idiot that Julia raises your hand and you're like yeah, and Julia just lays you out. One thing is that they're pushing Julia a lot because they had her in a segment with Zelina before the match also, where essentially it was like Zelina warned Julia that she has also worked hard for this, and then you had Julia take out Zelina after. So I think it's not going to be long before Julia is taking that title of Zelina. It's just that where does she take that title? Do you have that at Evolution? But then Evolution is a while, like it is 5 weeks away. So do you build this to Evolution? Maybe at Night of Champions, but I think that's where you probably have Becky versus Bailey or Becky, Bailey, and Lyra Valkyria in a triple threat. So what do you do? What do you do with that? So I think probably on a SmackDown in a main event you'll have Julia take the title. It's just that even after that I don't know what do you do with Julia. Like who are her opponents? Like who does she go against? Like she's a heel in a division which has an abundance of heels. Like apart from like Alexa Bliss or maybe Charlotte, like Julia doesn't have any opponents to go after because I thought that Alexa Bliss and Charlotte are in a storyline, but you had no interactions here. Like you just had Charlotte and Jade have a confrontation, and then Tiffany interrupted them. and went to the ring. You had Rhea Ripley interrupt her and was like, I have no experience of holding the Money in the Bank, but I have experience of being a champion, and I want to be a champion again. First, Tiffany got a monster pop, Rhea got an even better monster pop. Then you had Stephanie Walker come out, and it was a little bit weird that Stephanie didn't say anything. It's just the bell rung, and she just interrupted them for no reason. Then you had all the heels come out. I think this showed that how many women are over in the WWE, and how many women are over to the extent where many male wrestlers are less over than them. Like, this was an all-star tag, like, which you generally see from the men's division, but it is with the females division. And this is wild. If you have watched WWE, like, just like 10 years ago, this was not the situation. Like, people like Rhea are over, Stephanie. In the end, Roxanne takes a pin. She is kind of protected. Like, she did took the pin, but it was essentially because Naomi didn't tag in. So Roxanne just got bodied by everyone. First, Rhea really sells a good DDT like anyone else, and in the end, Julia didn't take the pin. Roxanne taking the pin, kind of like, I'm like, Roxanne has been taking too many pins, but in the end, she got distracted by Naomi. And say when the king and queen of the ring was announced that it is going to be in a fatal four way, because it's 3 weeks only, and then I think the fatal four ways are cross brand, and I think the people that qualify, they are going to be in like brand specific matches. The semi-final and I think the semi-finals are going to be brand specific. So I think the semi-finals generally happen on the pre-show, I think. So, or I think on the, or 1 week before. So what I think is gonna happen is, since the king and queen of the ring was announced, I was like, yeah, yeah, now the booking can be like different. I think what's gonna happen is Roxanne is going to win the Money in the Bank, and I think Naomi is going to win the Queen of the Ring. Like, Naomi being the crazy queen, like, that also makes a lot of money. And you set up like a straight away singles match for Naomi to go into SummerSlam. It's just like, is that the match that you want to do? Like, is Tiffany versus Naomi, or like Jade or Bianca versus Naomi, the match that you'd want to do at SummerSlam? Because I think my ideal SummerSlam match would be Bianca versus Jade versus Naomi in a triple threat. Like, have Naomi win the Money in the Bank, have her cash in at Evolution. Maybe you have Tiffany versus Jade. Maybe Jade is close to winning the women's championship, or she does win the women's championship, and just Naomi cashes in and becomes the women's champion. And then when Bianca is healthy, she comes back. You set up a triple threat, and eventually at next year's WrestleMania, maybe Naomi loses her title to Bianca, like maybe at Royal Rumble, or maybe before that you have Bianca versus Jade at WrestleMania. So I think you can have it both ways, but Triple H really has high hopes on Roxanne. And the thing is, Naomi as a crazy queen of the ring, especially you can have Naomi versus Jade as the queen of the ring final. It can work. It can work. It's just that then how do you take Jade from losing to Naomi to facing Tiffany at Evolution? But the thing is that the announcement of King and Queen of the Ring has made things more interesting. Like, Seth Rollins, like, then Andrade and Penta also had a match with the Creeds, which was a really good match. I think I really like that Andrade, like, is given importance, even though it's just because he's in the Money in the Bank. It just feels good when Andrade is given importance in the backstage segment as well. And Penta is so over with the crowd, man. In the end, Penta and Andrade won. They looked good, and then Seth and their faction attacked them. It's just that this has nothing to do with the show. It's just that why do wrestlers do not just run away? You clearly are two people. They are three people. Just run away. And Phoenix is not injured. Why did not Phoenix come out to save his brother and his like tag team partner? which has been against LWO. One thing I like was the integration of AAA in the show, like Chad Gable with his segments, him going to challenge for the AAA Mega Championship, him saying C to Andrade where he doesn't understand Spanish at all. I like the way that they've integrated a Triple A's promotion into the SmackDown show and even Raw show as well. The thing is, Seth attacked along with Braun and Bronson. Andrade and Penta took them out like Bronson giving multiple tsunamis. So this is what we need from the faction. Like not every week having the same stuff. Like this is what makes the faction dangerous. Like them taking out everyone. Like this is the first time that I feel that Seth's faction has felt like, yeah, like they are something to be scared of. So that also happened. CM Punk didn't come out because he got kicked by Seth on Raw. But having Seth so many times standing tall, I think Seth is not going to win. I think Roman is coming back. That way, we set up the six-man tag at Night of Champions with Roman, Sammy, and Punk taking on Seth, Bronson, and Braun. And maybe there you have the fourth member. Maybe there either you have Sami Zayn turn heel, or you have a fourth member, maybe a Ricky Starks debut, and Seth's faction wins the match. I think that's what's going to happen there. Only thing that I have is that what is Seth's match at SummerSlam? Is it Seth versus Roman? It kind of looks like that. Or maybe it's a triple threat, Seth, Roman, CM Punk again. But why will CM Punk and Roman right now go against each other? Like if it is Seth versus Roman, who does Punk face? Like maybe Punk faces Cena, but it looks like it's clearly going to be Cody versus Cena. So like I'm kind of confused there, like what's gonna happen, because I don't think Seth is winning the Money in the Bank. I think LA Knight is winning. They had LA versus Aleister Black also. Aleister Black had a pre-match video package where he essentially said that he like if LA Knight can beat him one on one, like he will like shake his hand and be like, you're the better man. I don't like the fact that you like I hit the black mass and you took the pinfall victory. Like that is not what a good guy does. And it like the same thing that Shinsuke kind of like was alluding with LA, but he like Aleister Black did it in a much more like clear and concise way, not just saying mumbo jumbo a lot. So they had a match which was good. I didn't really was paying attention to it, but in the end, uh, Seth Rollins comes out, and he like I think he gave a stomp to LA to have the DQ finish. Then they had a stare down with Aleister Black. Also, Aleister Black was like, "Yeah, you see what you did to me 5 years ago." Then Braun gave him a spear. What I can see happening is that maybe Aleister Black and AJ are kind of like red herrings right now. Like, come War Games time, you can see by the time the draft may happen, maybe you see maybe Aleister Black and you can see Aleister Black and AJ Styles be like on the side of Roman, CM Punk and all. Or maybe Aleister Black and LA Knight. Like I see LA Knight getting drafted from SmackDown to Raw anyway, even if he doesn't win the Money in the Bank, because he doesn't really have anything to do apart from like having a feud with Damian, maybe Drew, maybe facing John Cena. I think he has done everything he can do at SmackDown. He has already lost to Jacob Fatu at WrestleMania, also lost to him in the Fatal 4-Way, got pinned. It will be a fresh start from him, and anyways, I see LA Knight winning the Money in the Bank. They were kind of like testing the crowd through LA Knight's promo to see what the reactions were, and that I think everyone got a cheer. I think Solo got a boo, and Seth got a boo, I think maybe, and LA got a cheer. He got a cheer at the entrance also. El Grande Americano got a mixed reaction. He got boos and cheers. So I think they're trying to see also how the crowd is reacting to everyone. and he called Alistair Black dummy and everything. Even Penta got a loud cheer. So I think LA is winning. I think it will be like Bronson and Braun come out, CM Punk and Sami Zayn fought them off, and you're seeing that no, Seth is climbing. Roman comes back, Roman destroys him, and LA wins. You can say 3 years too late, but I will be glad that they are capitalizing with LA like they did with Jay. Like the reasoning given behind Jay was that he got over on his own, he sells a lot of merch. But then LA is the same person. And they are the guys who, in an era where, who are kind of the wrestlers, like who have their own catchphrases or who have catchphrases which are popular way earlier in other media, and they're kind of like the characters that, like this over the top characters that you saw back in the day. So why not capitalize on both of them? Like NA winning the Money in the Bank, you can have him be the Money in the Bank holder for a long time. You can have him cash in on Seth also. Like you can do a lot of things. Like LA winning the Money in the Bank and then straight away going to Raw, being like another top baby face for Seth to go against, I think is the right choice. Like you need more like over people to go against Seth's faction to make things more interesting, to get more viewership also. So I like that. So one thing is that this is what I liked, like Seth going around beating everyone else, and I like this. I like this stuff. And apart from that, you had the Bray Wyatt promo as well. So so Bo Dallas had a promo, which is essentially like it had him and Bray's face, maybe Uncle Howdy's face also like lapsing. And what Bo Dallas essentially said was that this is not something made out of nostalgia. Like we are here to get what we deserve. Like you cannot just forget about us. Like we will not be forgotten. Like we are a family. We became a family through grief. So and for the Smackdown tag team division, what we have seen is like we have seen a brotherhood, and we're going to test that brotherhood now. We will see how much of brothers you really are, and it is a kind of like a running like storyline in the Smackdown tag division, which has essentially been like, like do these teams really trust each other? Like why are Johnny and Tommaso with each other? Like because they didn't have singles glory. Like Street Profits, like them being together has been because they were like, we are really brothers. Like Motor City Machine Guns always together, Fraxium having an uneasy relationship but being together. like like they want to test it. Like they want to test their brotherhood, and they want to take revenge because they won't be forgotten. And that makes narrative sense also, but I think Push Rat said on Twitter, which was like, this is what has been Wyatt's storyline. Like them being with the Gable and the Creeds was like, why are you guys together? Even with the Final Testament, that was the same thing, and that is what they're going with the SmackDown tag team division as well, and they're coming for them. And after that, you had all of the SmackDown tag team division in the locker room, and they were scared. I think I like Johnny and Tommaso a lot. It was essentially that the Street Profits had some great lines where they were like, Fraxium, you're not fine. DIY, do not do it yourself. Motor City, we need those guns. They were like, let's fight together against the Wyatts because they are a menace. The Johnny and Tommaso was essentially like cowering out. They were like, "Oh, like you go and fight and everyone and everything," and they were stupid enough also. Like Motor City was like, "Okay, like we are letting go of things right now because we want to have a match against the Wyatts." And I think next week we'll probably see two of the Wyatts against Motor City Machine Guns, and I can see probably what is going to happen is DIY is going to come out. They're going to try to like maybe Street Profits are going to come out. Then I think DIY is going to come out, and they're going to like fight to like make sure that Wyatts are taken out, but that ensures a distraction, and that causes the Wyatts to win against Motor City. And I think that will same thing will happen like another week where Wyatts defeat DIY in the same manner too, maybe with Fraxium also, and then you set up a match for the Wyatts against Street Profits. I can see that. I've been liking this Smackdown tag team division so much. I think the best tag team division on the planet. Like they like actually giving them good storylines. I think the Wyatt Six have added a new layer in the Smackdown tag team division, a very interesting layer as well. And one thing also, them going into the tag team division has also like set things that you already have what, four men in the Wyatt Six. Like you have Bo Dallas, you have Eric Rowan, you have Dexter Loomis and Joe Gacy, and from these four people you can decide like which two are the ones that are kind of like the jobbers, or the ones that are kind of like going to take the pin, so that the others are protected, so that the Wyatt Six are much more like grounded, not not supernatural, like like their motivation seems good, and in the way that that they can take losses as well, that they are not like super overprotective. So I like that as well. So overall, this was a good show. Like things which mattered happened on this show. Have I missed anything? You had the Slim Jim table as well. I don't think I really missed anything apart from that. So I will give this a 3 out of 5, a 3.5 out of a, yeah, 3.45, 3.35, a 3.45, between 3 and 3.5 out of 3.5 out of 5 star show. What did you think about Smackdown? Tell me in the comment section. If you like this type of content, like this video, share and subscribe. If you don't, then share it with those who do. My social media accounts, which are my Twitter/X account and my Instagram account, links are in the description, so go follow me on that. My UPI ID link, which is shabboy@okicici, is in the description also, so go donate any amount of money which can help me make YouTube a permanent career option. So that was it for me for today. So thank you, goodbye, alvida.